Hi, how are you? You look great.
You look great. I have something to announce. I have something to tell you
Yes.
that today is our 3-year anniversary.
It
We're
is?
together.
Oh, it is! August 17 is our anniversary. I didn't even know that.
The 16th,
Oh,
so yesterday for you, today for me, but we were supposed to do this yesterday, so how synchronistic is that?
happy anniversary
Yeah.
to us. Wow, it's been 3 years. That's so crazy.
So
That's so crazy.
we done 3 years ago, and we've done like an amazing ride. I was giving an intro, and if you don't already know Paulina's work, she did the cover of the Rolling Stones this last year, the new album cover for them. We've done Gucci and Macy's, and I like want to do a show and tell with you because we never do this. But if you don't know Paulina's work, give her a follow. She's incredible. But the Rolling Stones, I mean, iconic project. This was everywhere. This is everywhere. Album art. This was it. What else? Disney Adidas. We did a huge campaign with Disney and Adidas for their, what was this? What's their classic shoe? The Samba?
No, it wasn't a song. It was,
What was this? It was the,
I can't remember the name. That thing with the Cheshire Cat on it. I can't remember the model of the shoe.
I think it's a campus. Anyway, cute, gorgeous. Love your work. Obviously, huge fan, biggest fan. But what's going on with you? Good morning.
Good morning. It's first thing in the morning. I'm still having coffee, and I'm just in my room, and I'm surrounded by these little my little eyeballs that I've been working on the past 3 months.
For the what was that for the Purveyor Art Fair? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So it's this annual fair that happens, and it's huge. It's in this big venue where all these brands. I think there's over like 60 brands that show up that can apply to join. And I've been following this because Purveyor is also like a magazine, and then they also have fair that's like an extension of their brand. And I've been following that whole group since I was in college,
Oh
or
my
just after college. So that's a long time ago. And I never thought I would be one of the brands that would be exhibiting / selling my work. I had no intention of joining. Applications were, I think they were supposedly closed, but I reached out and was like, can I still apply? Is it still possible to apply? And it's all because of my friend. Two friends actually. One of them, shout out DJ if you're listening, he asked me to collaborate with him because he's one of the brands that's showing at Purveyor Fair, and he asked me to collaborate with him on this fan that opens and you just fan I would be putting my art on that thing, so it would be his mushroom brand and my art on a fan. And then while I was working on that, my other friend Jello, shout out Jello if you're watching, he told me, why don't you join Purveyor Fair? You're collaborating on a fan for the fair. Why don't you join? I think you can do it. And I was like, you're right. Maybe I should join. So I sent in my application, and I did not expect to get accepted so fast, but they were like, okay, we're accepting you. You're part of the fair now. So that happened in like April, March, like a few months ago. And since then I've been just working every day to produce things because I haven't ever sold anything before in person. I don't have any physical products. This is gonna be my first time selling anything that I've produced physically, so I had to do all of that from scratch, testing all these different printers and suppliers, and getting stressed when no one would get back to me. It was really stressful, actually.
I know. Products are hard. Products take a lot of time, like leading up to it, like, figuring that whole thing out, the production of it. Wait, is Purveyor's not in the Philippines, is it? Where is it?
It's in the Philippines. It's based in Manila. That's where I am right now.
Oh my God, how fun. Wait, show me. So you have the big ones and the little ones. Show me both of them.
This is the big plush toy.
First.
I had to rush. It's not as soft as I would like. So ideally my plush toys would be as soft as this. Like this is really squishy.
Totally.
But there was limited time. Production took like 40 days and sampling took 30 days. So I didn't have much time to, go back and forth with the sampling. So they sent me a picture and they were like, are you good with this? And I was like, yeah, that's good. Send it over. And then it came, and then
they honestly looked perfect. So can people on the internet buy these from you, or are they only for the fair?
They're for the fair for now, but after the fair, I'm gonna put them online on my website. And depending on, well, I'm hoping to sell out at the fair, but if I don't, then the remainder of the stocks will be on my website. And regardless, I'm gonna be ordering a new batch because I'm getting a few more than a few inquiries about these. So hopefully these become like a permanent thing on my website. So
I love
my website was updated in so long.
Right.
Thank you.
I love that. Actually, I have something to show you also. So we did this project not long ago, but this was for Celsius, the cute little matches.
It's huge! It's huge! I remember that. Why is it so big? I thought they would be like this small.
I don't know. Oh, these, and also for everyone out there that's a fan of Paulina's or H+, we have a little shop with lenticulars of Paulina, and we also have these new little air fresheners that are super fun.
That's so cute.
I sent you a box.
What's the thing? That's so cute.
Oh my god!
Can I have some?
Did you get these yet?
No, I didn't. Oh, it takes forever. Packages take forever to arrive. They're probably stuck at like the post office or something. I got some notices from the post office saying you have packages.
Yeah, like tropical breeze, tropical Filipino breeze. We do have these from Paulina, which I love. And then we have also, obviously, Paulina featured in our new little roster booklet, which I will show off your work again because I'm obsessed with you. This is Paulina, also for everyone that is new to her work, and then Peter Tarka, of course, but this is in our newest roster booklet. You have packages coming from us if you haven't gotten them yet. So they look great. All the new stuff looks great. And as always, I'm so excited to see the new stuff you're working on. So eyeballs are a big theme. I want to talk about kind of themes in your personal work and like kind of you built this world that's like so iconically yours, which is, you know, to me, the hardest part of being a creative is like finding your voice and your world and your style and like something, you know, what represents your work. Because the basis of that is always going to roll over to if you do gallery shows, products, you know, commercial stuff, whatever. So what are like your top 5 icons or elements that you like go back to all the time?
So eyeballs obviously are the biggest elements that I come back to, and then I have a bunch of prints here and I can show you. So the heart is a big like element for me, specifically the kind that's laid out like this. I call this the chrome heart, and it's everywhere. I've been getting DMs from people, just random people showing me that they got this tattooed on their body. Like some of them are small and some of them are huge, and I'm like, thank you. And like I remember this one famous celebrity kind of took it and used it for her marketing campaign and never credited it. So a heart, yeah, that's one of the big ones. Hands as well. Mm-hmm. Hand chrome format, and also just like really delicately positioned female hands, I think. Are very
your hands.
Sorry?
They're kind of like your hands. They're definitely like long, feminine, and totally.
Yeah. I use my hands as I'm my personal hand model. If you look at my camera roll, there's just a bunch of like hands in weird positions. And recently I've been really liking mermaid tails. Mm-hmm. Mermaid tails and like these ornate gold frames. And the gold frames are a recent thing because I went to Italy like last year or 2 years ago. I was in Italy 2 years ago, and that's when I started drawing golden ornate frames, because I would go to museums over there and they would have these really big pieces in these huge, really intricate gold frames, and that really inspired me. So I've been doing that. Yeah. And what else?
World, bring them in.
Nature and plants. This one in particular isn't very popular. I don't know why, because it's one of my favorites, but this I really like the Venus flytrap motif. I love and slime. So I would say those are pretty... Oh, and this was from when I was experimenting with Illustrator's 3D tool. I didn't end up sticking with it because the functionality was kind of limited, but I ended up making some really cool pieces. This is also one that I really like. It's a spider. Some people think it's a crab.
Adorable.
And and there's a rainbow in the back, another one of the elements that I tend to gravitate towards. So, yeah.
Sure. I love your like fish, anamorphic fish shapes. I love the surrealism in your work. There's like a really nice touch of, like dreamy surrealism. And then, yeah, you were doing like the different animals and aquatic and amphibious animals kind of merged in there that I loved. So for everyone that's new to your process, what do you work in? What's your software? What's your basis? Do you draw or do you go straight to digital?
I go straight to digital. Because it's just easier that way, and I feel like, okay, I use Adobe Illustrator and it feels like cheating sometimes because I don't need to be skilled in terms of shading and putting pressure on your pen to make things darker versus a light hand to make things lighter, because I can do 2 clicks on Illustrator and that gives me the gradient effect I'm looking for in 2 seconds. So it feels like cheating, but that's also why I love it, because if I make a mistake, I don't have to rip up my piece of paper and start over. I can just delete and do it again.
And that's a skill that you've acquired, and we're not necessarily here to be Renaissance painters, all of us. And I think that you're a digital Renaissance painter.
Oh, So my favorite tool is the gradient mesh tool, and I've talked about that a lot online. That's what I use pretty exclusively on Illustrator. I use that for everything. Gradients and the gradient mesh, and that's how I come up with the surreal effect. So yeah, everything I do is on Illustrator. I only really sketch when I have client projects and they're highly conceptual. For example, Adidas, Disney. I sketched the most for that project. Several pages of my sketchbook are just filled with those images. That was really stressful, but really fun. So when they're highly conceptual like that, I have to sketch before putting them down on, I was gonna say down on paper, but on my laptop. So yeah, but otherwise I go straight to the computer, because especially when it's personal work, I feel like just playing around with the tools on Illustrator opens up more possibility for new elements to arise. So it's fun, it's easy, and it's fun.
I can't remember, do you do tutorials, or have you done like courses or like process videos of your work? I can't remember. You were doing process a little bit, you were posting that.
I was doing process videos, but I felt like I had to pull back just a little bit on the processes, because I was noticing people doing exactly, like copying my work exactly and then posting it, or doing album art for smaller artists, and then I would just see them on Spotify. I would be listening to Spotify and then I would see album art and I'd be like, wait, did I do this? But no, it's not me, it's someone else in my style exactly. And I wasn't seeing that before I posted tutorials. It was only after I started teaching people how to do what I do that I started seeing people copying it. And I know that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well,
but
I mean, it's like you can be, some of your techniques, but like not to make what you make. You know what I mean? Like maybe here, like make a gradient, but like don't make eyeballs and hands and hearts and
I've seen album covers, I've seen book covers, I've seen, even tattoo artists copying my stuff. Like, okay, I still I don't wanna completely gatekeep what I do, because it's also fun to share. But I think I just need to figure out a new approach to showing people my process rather than teaching them step by step. So, yeah.
I mean, that's every artist. You want to like protect your craft and protect your work, and I mean a big way kind of around that is to keep evolving. You know what I mean? And it's like which you do, And speaking of, like, what do you want to work on more? What do you want to get into more? I mean, you're doing products now. You're like expanding your medium a little bit, which is amazing. Like, what are we doing for the rest of the year and next year?
So ever since I started working on these things, I've been really thinking about what kind of physical products I want to produce. I used to think before I started any of these physical things, I used to think I wanted all my work to be digital forever. I didn't want to produce a single physical thing. But then now that I've done it, and I had no choice really but to do it, um, I want to get into it. I've been thinking I want to do like a book with just my images, maybe tell a story here and there and illustrate that story. No words, just pictures.
I love that.
That's what I want.
I love books, obviously. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. I want to make a book because I've been inspired. My sister loves this artist George Wildesol, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But he produced 2 books, I think, so far. Maybe there's more. I'm not sure. But my sister has 2 of his books, and they're beautiful. They're so well done. It's just a simple, like, it's not hardbound or anything. It's paperback, and his style is very 2D, but it's printed so nicely, and the pictures just pop out, even though there's just one tiny thing on the page, and in the background is a solid color. It just pops, and it's really nice. So that's something I want to do too. I have to figure out where to find a publisher, and that's a whole other world of stress. But it excites me.
Yeah. Talk to me about that sometime. We have the H Plus book that we put out last year.
Yeah, I have that.
It was super limited edition also. We do still have some, and then of course we have Paulina's spread in here, which turned out so beautifully. All those iconic elements that she uses. But yeah, this was a hardbound one. This one was self-published. There's definitely resources to make it easier for artists to do. There's resources for distribution if you want to like partner with a publisher or whatever. But I think that a book of your work would be iconic, and totally everyone would want it.
I hope so. It's kind of hard for me to conceptualize things that aren't on the nose. For example, when I'm planning an illustration, it's always, okay, spider, flower, leaves. It's nothing like, I want to convey sadness, I want to convey happiness. That only comes sometimes when my emotions are really, really strong, and they're usually negative emotions related to like heartbreak or whatever. And then that's when I produce very emotional pieces. But other than that, it has to be super on the nose. Like, I want to draw an eyeball today. I want to draw a waterfall today. Other than that, it's tricky. I don't know. Maybe I have to get my heart broken or something. I don't know.
What is that thing about like the misery breeds the best creativity or something? There's all kinds of, mentions of that. But like developing a body of work based on emotion would be a fun thing to explore also, like just as a series of personal work,
I feel like that's how most great artists do it anyway. Like they draw based on their emotions, and that's why some work is so compelling, because you look at it and you're like, this conveys a really strong emotion, it evokes a really strong emotion in me, and I can't explain. And a lot of the time, maybe sometimes it's coincidence, but I feel like a lot of the time it also stems from the artist feeling something, and that causing them to create the artwork, and then it translates to the viewers.
Yeah,
so that's really cool.
Love that.
And that's where I get imposter syndrome sometimes. I feel like, do I just lack emotion? Why can't I create more abstract art?
Absolutely not. It's hard. Your work borders on abstract. It's amazing. And it's like, I think that you'd probably be surprised by, the people that do find your work like really emotion provoking, and like, are you kidding me? Like, this is love. Like, this is love, but this is also like this, juxtaposition of like, this guy's super mad, this guy's like a little submissive. Like, there's so much emotion in your work that could be subconscious, like looking back at it, it's like, I always used to think that about my own personal work. It's like, I wouldn't realize what I was going through until I looked back, and I was like, oh, that's, like very obviously in a dark place or in a happy place or whatever. But sometimes it's just like a subconscious process that your output is, more, it's like just an innate output.
Yeah, I think you're right, because looking back at when I started, when I started in like 2021 or something. I was posting every day, and it was the same thing, like a dark background with snakes and broken shells and skeletons and stuff. And I compare that to my work now, and I see how dark all my output was at the time. I realized, yeah, I was depressed when I was doing that. So it does translate. You're right, it does translate. Maybe I'm just being too hard on myself.
You know, it's like more of your, yeah, you don't think about it as much. You're just kind of like what you want to produce is probably guided a little bit by that, which I think is really cool. So you're based in the Philippines. We're in Los Angeles. I want to hear from you just because I'm so envious. Like, what's a normal day in the Philippines like for you when you're home, when you're working, when you're just like living your life?
So currently I'm in Metro Manila, which is the capital city. And it's a very there's a lot going on, and it's a little bit stressful because it's a city. It's jam-packed. It's always so busy, so much traffic. And I'm only here when I have like family stuff, or if I have things to do like this, for example, then I stay here and then I work, because it's kind of easy to work here. I have my space and I can follow a routine pretty easily. So that's Manila. But for the most part, I live away from Manila in a more provincial area, and my life there is a lot slower than it is here. So every day I wake up, I live on the beach, so I wake up and I have coffee, and then my friends and I surf in the morning, and then yeah, I go about my day, which consists of, like, if I have a client, then I do client work. If not, then I do whatever. I do personal work, or I work on, you know, something like this that I'm planning for. It's a very slow day. And then I sleep at, like, my bedtime is 8 p.m., sometimes 7:30.
Lifestyle I'm trying to about. It's like, I just picture you surfing and eating fruit and like lounging, and like your laptop's with you in the water, and like you're floating and you're just like living your best, you know, freelance art life.
Yes, that's you nailed it. That's pretty much what I do every day, except for the laptop being in the water. Yeah, that's pretty much.
I think
what I do.
more of that in my future for sure. I'm gonna figure that. We're gonna open this up to a Q&A in about 5 minutes here. So if anyone wants to ask Paulina anything specific, this is your chance. IRL, down the little button at the bottom that has the question mark on it. You can do it now. You can add it into the feed. Totally up to you. But before we get into that, I'm just gonna like give people a minute to queue it up if they'd want to. When is the Purveyor Art Fair? When is that happening for you?
September 7th to 8th.
Oh,
so soon.
Yeah.
So, and like my birthday is coming up August 29, and my parents are asking me, how do you want to celebrate your birthday? Do you want to fly home? And I'm like, no, yes, I want to fly home, but I'm gonna be so stressed while I'm there thinking about the fair. So let's just stay here. I don't want to do anything for my birthday. I'm just gonna be stressed the whole time.
Oh my god. Is this wrinkles?
Yeah, like subconsciously I just touch this part of my face because I feel like wrinkles are developing every day.
Oh my.
From the stress.
That's so exciting. A couple things I forgot to tell you recently. I was in Ibiza, and remember when we did the Paradise Club in Ibiza?
Yeah.
Like sculptures of your work.
Are they still there?
I don't. Admittedly, I didn't go clubbing when I was in Ibiza, but I saw their billboards, which we'd done a project for. When was that? Like a year or two ago, which is amazing. So it's a real place. And at one point, they had those huge life-size sculptures of yours. All right, I'm gonna start maybe opening this up. I'm gonna tap on my little icon. How long does a piece of yours take to make, start to finish?
Anywhere between an hour and 24 hours, 48 sometimes if I'm procrastinating, but it normally doesn't take me that long to finish. If I sit down and don't get distracted, I can do a piece from anywhere from 1 hour to 3.
Do you start on a piece and then like take a pause and go back to it the next day, or like work on something for a couple days, or when you sit down, do you like do the whole thing at once?
I used to sit down and do everything at once, But then that was a little bit stressful because I would think, okay, this is gonna take me 2 hours max. But then in the middle of it, I realized I don't like this. I don't like where this is going, and I have to rethink it. But then I would force myself to sit down and finish it. So it would take me like 5 hours, 6 hours, and at the end I'd be really tired. So lately I've been learning to slow down, not just in art, but even in like cooking and the rest of my life. But if I can't figure something out, I will sit down and take a break or come back to it the next day, and that usually works out in my favor. So.
Yeah, relax your eyeballs, like take a break. I know I like going back to stuff and like stepping back from it and then kind of seeing it with the fresh eyes, fresh face. Let's see here. What software do you animate in?
I animate in After Effects, but After Effects is hard because it doesn't, my process on Adobe Illustrator is very unique and very complex, that when I try to migrate my files from Illustrator to After Effects, even After Effects can't pick up my elements and animate them correctly. Like, they rasterize all the vectors. It doesn't work like it should because my images on Illustrator are very complex. So the things I can do on After Effects are very limited, just because After Effects cannot read the images I create on Illustrator. So yeah, I animate there, but maybe it's just a skill thing. Like, I'm not that skilled yet when it comes to animation, but it's tough. Even getting the basic movements down, given my style on Illustrator, is kind of difficult on After Effects. Maybe I have to switch programs completely. Maybe I should learn 3D.
And I'm gonna because I love it, but always open to new skills. Do you have those cute little prints that you shared for sale on your website, or are those for the fair, or do you like have those available somewhere?
After the fair, I will be adding my prints and stuff to my website. Everything that I sell on the fair will be on my website after the fair. Cool. Oh, I see in the chat.
Yeah, there's from Brooklyn 115 Chris. If I send you a print of your work, would you sign it for me?
Sure. It depends where in the world you are, though, because you'd have to cover shipping. But if you're cool with that, yes, I will sign your work for you. Hi, Paul. How much is the big eyeball? The big eyeball. I am selling the big eyeball at a discount prior to the fair. DM me for the price, but during the fair it'll be slightly higher. But if you order beforehand, then I'll give you a discounted price.
Did you just do a limited batch of those? Did you do a limited run of the small and big ones?
Yes, they're quite limited because production was expensive because I had to rush it. So the shipping fee costs almost as much as the eyeballs themselves, and I'm not sure if they're gonna sell. I hope they do, but if they don't, then that's just a big waste of money. So it's a limited amount for now.
I mean, actually, you will sell them for sure. I think they're so perfect, and they're so fitting for your work. And I mean, who wouldn't want an eyeball plush, honestly?
Yeah.
So before you were with H+, what were you doing, and how did you start as an artist?
I've always been creative. From a young age, everyone around me knew, my family knew that I was going to do something creative in my life. I've always enjoyed drawing and colors and even fashion from a young age. But I only really started doing what I'm doing now in the pandemic, because first I thought I was going to pursue fashion as a career, but then because of the pandemic that didn't really work out. I was living in New York and Miami, and it was so hard as an immigrant to get a job in a community like fashion. So I was really struggling. I didn't have any money. I just graduated. So all I could do, and it was lockdown, so all I could do was make art in my room, and that's what I did. I was making art every day, posting it every day, and before I knew it, you guys reached out to me. H+ reached out, my dream agency reached out asking to represent me, and now I've been with you for 3 years. That's so crazy.
I've loved watching your progress and watching, your success as an artist, as an independent, with clients. It's we got a really exciting email for you today. It's just it's so cool seeing how big of a response there's been to what you've made, and that's the biggest you know, the biggest thing to be proud of that I can say. And now I feel like your mom, but I love you. I'm so.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you know, you really helped me that one time we had a call. Do you remember that early this year? And I was like, Hannah, I'm struggling. My engagement isn't what it used to be on Instagram. What do I do? Do I get a real job? And you were like, no.
Absolutely not. We're not getting jobs ever, ever. And engagement is like such a thought. And this is for all the artists out there. It's like, you know, make what you want to make for you. Fuck the likes, fuck the engagement. Like there's some things that we don't have control of that we have to let go of. And engagement is one of them. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, unfortunately, at this point, I know a lot of people use Instagram and social media more as like a portfolio site. And it's super important to keep updated and, you know, show that you're creating, not necessarily every day, but just in general. But like, you know, your value is not based off of some, you know, predetermined algorithm. And, you know, they fucked it all up. And, you know, more on that in my next lecture. But, no, I'm always happy to help and to like, you know, give you or any of our artists advice and guidance. And like, no, I strongly believe in what you do. And it's like, things will always fluctuate, but you know, we ain't getting no jobs. Absolutely.
Thank God, thank God. I that lifted something off my shoulders and I've been chilling ever since. So thank you for that.
I mean, things go up and down. The economy goes up and down. You know, there's a lot of things that like we can't really predict, but you know, it's like if you stay determined with your work and find other outlets like the fairs and your personal work, and I mean, that's so important to just kind of like keep it going as an artist, and things will always work out. If you make things, people will recognize that, and you know, that's just the recipe, and trust that process, because I swear to God, that's how it works.
Oh, thank you. That's so reassuring. Thank you.
Like the biggest hype lord for you, for sure. Yes, of course. So I know you spent some time in New York and Miami. Do you have plans to come back? We have something big coming up in New York right around your art fair season too.
Oh, really? I feel like everything is happening next month and I don't physically separate myself. But no plans for New York or Miami anytime soon. I thought in the past that I wanted to go back after the pandemic to try and live there again, but then I discovered my life on the beach and now I'm never leaving. But I really do want to visit. I want to visit New York again. I miss my friends and like the art scene over there. So maybe next year. Who knows?
Do let me know. We have the Billboard project launching in New York.
Oh yeah.
You will see Paulina's work in Times Square for Fashion Week this year, which is the first week of September. H Plus is doing a Billboard exhibition the 2nd to the 8th. If you're in New York, look up. It's Times Square, right above the donut shop. Hard to miss. But that'll be exciting. I'll be out there for that, and I will definitely be sharing photos and sending you videos of that. And then there was something else. Oh, there's a Pictoplasma animation convention also in New York. H Plus will be there doing portfolio reviews. So if you're around, please come say hi. But Pictoplasma is amazing for animation and artists and character development also. So I was hoping I would see you there, but I will just have to catch you on the beach in the Philippines, and that is bad either.
Yeah. I see a question here. I think that's for you.
About H Plus, send me an email. How do I get represented? We have a submission form on our website. Shoot me DM. We are constantly looking. I love to see what everyone's making, and yeah, we'll go from there. How is your personal practice going? How is your personal workflow? I know, you know, commercial stuff goes up and down, and art fair stuff and physical stuff. How are you feeling about your personal work, and are you still having time? And when?
Admittedly, I'm not creating as much personal work as I used to, and when I think of a concept these days, it takes me ages to execute because I've been so focused on this stuff. Admittedly, I need better time management, but then I think when I start going back to my daily practice of making art, I think I want to explore a more a little more 2D. I mean, my work is already 2D. It's not technically 3D, but I want to explore more flat colors. I have a lot of gradients right now. I use a lot of gradients, and this time I want to see how I can incorporate those gradients into like a flatter style of art, you know, with the black outlines like in cartoons. I want to do something like that.
Cool.
So
cool. I would love to see the next kind of evolution of where you would take that and how you would make your work. Hold on, let me check this little button down here. What that was kind of about the book. We answered that. What artists do you look up to for your own work? Do you have like an artist, inspiration of classical artists or new artists? Like, do you get inspo from artists' work? Do you look at artists? Do you not look at work?
I look at all kinds of work. I really like, obviously I'm in the digital art space, so I follow so many digital artists, but I also look at fine art, and I really like, I think he's from either Chile or Cuba, I can't remember, but his name is Guillermo Lorca Garcia. He does these really surreal large pieces he mixes nature and the human form in a way that's so mesmerizing and magical, and his settings are in these like luxurious, opulent rooms, but like something really fucked up is happening, like she's feeding a gorilla or something like that. So his work is really amazing, and it's large scale, and he's young, and I really want to see one of his exhibits. I feel like I think he has permanent exhibits in Spain or something like that. So Guillermo Lorca Garcia, he's amazing. And the digital artists, I cannot name them off the top of my head. When I get asked that question, I draw a blank. But there are a bunch of digital artists that I follow that I really, really love, and a lot of them are represented by H+, and that's not a bias because I was following you guys before you even heard of me. So yeah.
Thank you. I know I'm also curious to see what your inspos are, but do you find inspo like in the Philippines and in your natural environment? I feel like there's a lot of kind of callback to things that feel very tropical and, organic and all of that. You must.
Yeah, for sure. It's never been something that I've explicitly done. Like, I'm gonna look at this flower and I'm gonna draw this flower from the Philippines. I think it just comes naturally because growing up, I've been exposed to this environment, lots of nature, beaches. So without my knowing it, that's where my art goes a lot of the time. That's what I default to, nature. And yeah, I get asked this question a lot. Does living in the Philippines inspire you? And yes, I think just subconsciously, these are the elements that my brain says, okay, I'm gonna turn this into artwork because it's what I see every day. So yeah,
they have to. Well, I'm gonna kind of wrap this up in the next couple minutes. I've taken the majority of your morning, and I'm gonna let you get back to your coffee. But Paulina Almira, everyone, we have some of her stuff in the H+ shop, including these amazing little air fresheners. They smell like paradise. We have our master booklet. Of course, if you want to collect work from her, she has prints, she has eyeballs, and she will be at Purveyor Art Fair, which is super exciting. But from us, I can offer lenticulars and booklets and, all of our little fun promo swag, which I love that we do. And next time I see you, I'll get you some of these amazing matches that we did. This is called Chubby Flames, and then it has her little bio on the back. But yeah, these turned out so fun, and they showed up, and I was like, these are amazing and massive. What's happening?
I want those so bad. I thought they were gonna be this small. That's amazing.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're gonna keep this up on it. Wherever we put these in our conversation category. But thank you so much, Paulina. Let your hair down. You look gorgeous. Happy anniversary. Happy 3-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Thank you so much.
Glad we did this, and it's so good to see you as always, and I hope to see you in the Philippines or New York or wherever I catch you. But thank you. That was a blast. Appreciate everyone for joining.
Bye.
Bye.